Okay, I'll try and take you through and make this. So first of all, we've got a project in Red Lake, as Eric said. We're about, our property is about 10 kilometers east of Goldcorp. We're on key geological structure. And what we're doing is we're focusing on two things. One is to build up the resource that we announced this February. It's just a little over 1 million ounces. And we're going to drill deeper and try and grow that. And the second thing is we have this other target about 1 kilometer away, which could yield fantastic value for shareholders. To put it in context, we have to look at developing these projects over a multi-year time frame. So we're looking at 3 years, 5 years. We think this market's going to run in the junior gold space for probably 5 years, roughly. The GDXJ chart came down for 5 years. At bottom, it's probably going to go up for 5 years. And we can build value during that time period. Our goal, our strategy in the longer run is to create, but through exploration and development, a project that's worth a lot of money to the mining industry. And we would ultimately like to sell to another mining company who'd like to put it in production. I put things in production before. I find production is a cost and a headache. The money's made in exploration and development, so we're going to take this next 3 to 5 year window and create a lot of value for shareholders. That's our strategy. So as Eric mentioned, we have 1 million ounces in Red Lake. We have we've got a property that's about 12 kilometers in strike length. We got a partnership with Goldcorp, and on the left you'll see what we own 100%. On the right hand side, the bigger area is what we have in partnership with Goldcorp. There's 3 former producing mines on the property. And on our next slide here goes over our management team. I've done this once before with a company called Lexum VG Gold. It used to be VG Gold. We had 4 former producing mines in Timmins. It had about a 3 million market cap when I got started. We spent a few years on developing those projects, mostly through exploration and development work. And then we sold it to Rob McEwen for $200 million, so we made a lot of money for our shareholders. John Heslop is our vice chairman. John put the Hoyle Pond mine in production, which is now Goldcorp's best mine in Timmins. He sold his recent company to another company, and he's a strong part of our team. John Contact is our president, and his last company, Victory Gold, was in Timmins, and he sold that to who is now part of a Cisco's land package. Ken Guy was my exploration manager from VG Gold, and Michael Dane, who's on the team, was a senior geologist at Goldcorp. Our structure, we have 101 million shares. You can see there's a lot there at 10 cents. They're owned by our biggest shareholder. He has about 25%. He's the one who actually got me involved in this company about 3 years ago after I built up and sold VG Gold to Lexum. And another fund manager because they wanted somebody to come in and fix a broken company. So John and I have been doing this for about 3 years. We have big shareholdings in the company, and our families do. So we've got all our eggs in one basket, and we're determined to make this thing successful for all shareholders. Next slide shows you the Red Lake camp. So as you can see, there's structures running east-west and also north-south. On the east end of that slide, you see the Goldcorp mines. Just south of that, you've got a couple of projects by Premier Gold, and further south, you've got Pure Gold Mining with their Madsen mine project, and we're on the west end with 3 former producing gold mines and a 12-kilometer-long property. And that's our ROWAN resources, the one in the middle, and you can see another structure comes up and intersects in between the ROWAN and one called the Red Summit. Here, this is a slide that shows you our core shack, and there's a couple of other projects on the property. We have 3 former producing mines that started in the 1930s. Typically what happened in the 1930s when the Red Lake camp first came alive is you had veins on surface that people started to mine. And so there's 3 former producing mines. They've got shafts that go anywhere between about 450 feet down to 700 feet deep. They didn't really do any exploration. So we come along today, we do modern exploration, develop these projects, and turn them into something valuable. This shows you our resource. Right now we got just under 1.1 million ounces of 7.6 grams with a 3-gram cutoff. You can see if you actually go to a 5-gram cutoff, we have something over 10 grams. Don't lose too many ounces, 4-gram cutoff, just under 1 million ounces of 9 grams. These properties have high-grade shoots in them as typical Red Lake gold. The ROWAN mine project itself, Goldcorp originally had the ROWAN property. They liked it because of the structural intersection, which you can see coming up between the two stars that you see, the red stars. The one in the center is the ROWAN, where our resource is. The one on the right-hand side or east side is the Red Summit. We own that one 100%. But the intersection of those two structures is what Goldcorp really likes, and that's where they're our 60% funding partner. That's where they want to see the dollars focused that they put up in the project, is to try and find something really big there. Now here's a picture of the same slide, but it's from surface down to depth. So on the left-hand side, you see the ROWAN mine. The brightly colored red areas where our 1.1 million ounce resource is. And our plan is to drill a series of holes underneath that and try and expand that resource from 1 million ounces to 2 million ounces over the next year or so, say by the end of 2017. And then over to the right-hand side, in the center, you see what we call the structural intersection area. That's where the structure comes up from the south and intersects the east-west trending structure. That's where you have major exploration potential. Now, going back to the ROWAN mine, we think that with an increasing gold market in mining stocks, like the GDXJ went from 180 down to 17, and now it's back up to in the mid-40s, low 40s. If it goes back up to 180 again, just on the revaluation of ounces in the ground, we can have at 3, 4, 5 times revaluation in our ounces in the ground. We're also going to double those ounces in the ground over the next year or so. So that's our plan to increase value for our shareholders. In addition to that, if we can get a home run in the structural intersection, then we're going to do even more. So our base case is to build up ROWAN while the market's taking all these stocks back up. The home run would be something, to give you an example of a home run, Goldcorp 20 miles further east at a structural intersection in what used to be called the Dickinson mine, they found a zone that took that market cap of that company from $50 million to $8 billion on one zone at a structural intersection. That's why they want to put money into the structural intersection. So there's huge potential here. So that's the home run. Base case, we make 5 times our money for shareholders over 3 years. Then there's a home run potential on top of that. This shows you what we've been doing over the last few years. We've continued to move the project forward through the difficult times. And from the development aspect, in addition to exploring and building up resources, we're also doing the things that make a company attractive to another mining company, such as we're upgrading the resource around ROWAN with drilling there. We're going to do permitting work, which we got started, and we've got environmental, so we're doing metallurgical work and all the things that makes a company attractive to somebody who would take us out. The goal would be to be taken out at a much higher price with higher quality paper from a company that would like to actually put this thing into production. So we want to get it all ready for them and get our shareholders to roll over into higher quality paper. And that's basically our story. That's how we're going to try and create some value for our shareholders. Thank you.